Well, good morning once again. We are so glad you're here. My name is Jeremy. Welcome to Oasis Church. It is great to have you. It's hard to believe it's December 2nd, and we're kicking off our Christmas series already, but that's where we find ourselves. And so if you want to write some notes, or if you want to follow along on your phone, you can access the notes at oasisnfl.info. Just type that in to your browser, and you'll be able to hit that top button, and you'll be able to follow along with us. All the verses will be on the screens, and they're there on your phone as well. But basically, we've decided, as Josh said, to kind of not only look at Christmas, but actually prepare for 2019. And we actually want to begin to travel light. We actually want to begin to unpack some things that perhaps we put in our suitcase of life. Perhaps we put that in what we've carried with us maybe in 2018, or maybe even longer. You know, the older we get, it seems like the more stuff we accumulate, the more things that seem to pile on, the more things that seem to go as part of our lives. And so perhaps today we want to begin this conversation to actually begin to unpack some things, to actually begin to let some things go, to actually begin to be able to travel light a little bit more. Because here's the reality. And I want to remind you of this, and just so you know, I'm reminding myself of this as well. This world is not our home. Okay, we are only traveling through. We got some hand claps on that one, all right? So the idea here again is sometimes we act like this is all there is. And the reality is, and the reminder for us today is that we are been made for something more. We've been made for something bigger than just this moment, than just this world. And so we want to begin to put again our mindset on, if this world is not our home, then where should our mind be? And where should our focus be? And how do we kind of regain that perspective that perhaps we've gotten away from? And so this series, we're going to unpack some things like learning to let go and unpack some distractions. Learning to let go of some bitterness, of some control, maybe even of some failure. Again, either that happened in 2018 or things that happened years ago that we still are carrying with us. But today, we want to talk a little bit. I think it's going to maybe start a little bit the easiest, but it might still step on some people's toes. So I hope you're ready for that. In preparation for it, it's stepping on my toes, just so you know, just so we're aware of that. So today, we want to begin to travel light and let go of stuff. Let go of some stuff that's in our lives. And so here's the key thought for our time today. What if it's better to have less? What if it's better to have less of what doesn't matter and more of what does? Our key thought is it's better to have less of what doesn't matter and actually have more of the things that actually do matter. Our culture screams the opposite. Our culture says, get as much as you can. Hold on to as much as you can. You've even seen the bumper sticker. He who dies with the most toys wins. All right? So it actually should be the opposite. All right? He who dies with the most toys is still dead. Just so you know. All right? So we still understand that there is something beyond this world. And everything in our culture screams the opposite. In fact, it's one of the first lies that Satan told Adam and Eve. Here's Adam and Eve, right? They are by themselves in the garden. The Bible says they are naked and knew no shame. So they are able to fully enjoy each other as husband and wife, as male and female. They're able to get along and have a perfect relationship. Not only that, but they have a perfect relationship with God, who's there in the garden. We call the Garden of Eve paradise. So it literally doesn't get better than that. I mean, things are amazing in this situation where Adam and Eve are. And there's just one rule. They can enjoy all the fruit of all the trees except one. And then along comes the serpent. And then along comes Satan. He begins to trick and to deceive. And he says, did God really say that? And the first lie he's saying is, first of all, you can't trust God. And second of all, you need more. You can't trust God, and you need more. You can't trust God. God wants to keep that from you. God wants to minimize your fun and minimize all that you're able to enjoy by not letting you eat of that tree. And then secondly, yeah, you have all the trees here, but you need more. You need one more. You need that final tree, and then you'll be happy. And what we're told over and over again is that what we don't have is what we need. What we don't have is what we need to be happy, to be fulfilled, to be complete. We hear this message over and over again. And what we don't have is what we need. And this is a lie that you and I believe over and over and over again. That the reason we're not happy is because I need one more thing. The reason I'm not complete is because I'm missing this. The reason I'm not fulfilled is because of this. And our American mindset is simply this. More is better. More is better. That's our American mindset. Now, you guys seem like you're kind of quiet right now, just so you know. So I'm going to encourage you, all right? I need a little feedback here. I need a little interaction here, all right? So do you agree with that? The American mindset is more is always better, yes? Yes. I mean, that's what we're taught. That's what we believe. That's what we hold on to. I mean, if $1 is good, 2 is better. Okay, very good. All right, and you know, maybe 10,000 is better. All right, just so you know, right? If $1 is good, 2 is better. If 1 car is good, then 2 are better. If 1 vacation is good, hello, another vacation, right? We need another one, right? That would be even better. And what we see and what we believe, again, is that more is always better. And so we have this container of candy canes here, all right? Any peppermint fans here? You like peppermint, all right? Anyone kind of like, I like the different flavored candy canes, like the sour ones or this whatever. All right, we like other flavors, right? So we see candy canes, and you know, the American mindset is more is better. So 1 candy cane, that's good. But man, 2 candy canes, that would be awesome. And maybe 3 candy canes, that would be great. And you talk to a child, or maybe think back to our younger years, you're like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I want to have that. But here's the reality. If you eat 1, you'll be okay, right? Your breath, pretty good, pretty minty, right? You eat 2, you know, you're probably doing right. But if you eat the whole bowl, you go, okay, sooner or later, I've had enough. And more is not always the answer. And when your body rejects the candy canes, you're like, okay, that was too much, right? That was too much. And the reality is, this again is our life. We bought into that more is better, but more is not always better. More is not always better. You have King Solomon. Wisest man who ever lived. Coincidentally, the richest man who ever lived. And he writes Ecclesiastes, which is a book about basically saying, listen, everything in life that we pursue, that you want to own, that we go after, everything in life here on earth is meaningless. Amen. Outside of a connection with God, it's not going to make us happy, complete, or fulfilled. And he says this in Ecclesiastes 4:6. And yet, he says, this is again, the context is, we pursue things, we want to get the next thing, we want to go after more success and go after the next level and reach that, and then hit the higher level and reach that. He says this, and yet, better to have 1 handful with quietness than 2 handfuls with hard work and chasing the wind. He says, listen, here's what our mindset is. Our mindset is we want to have not just 1 handful, but we want 2 handfuls. And our mindset here on earth is to go after as much as possible and to do whatever we can. And Solomon says, listen, I've observed all that. And here's what I found. I found it's better to have 1 handful with quietness. Other translations that we read say tranquility, or imagine peace, or less stress, or joy. He says, here's what I found out. Better to have 1 handful and enjoy peace, enjoy a good night's sleep, enjoy rest and stress-free and joy that comes from God. Better to have 1 than to have 2 with hard work and chasing the wind. What do you never catch when you chase the wind? It's the wind. You never catch. Because why? Because 2, I just got to get a little bit more. I just got to get a little bit more. And then you got to hold on to your 2, right? Because I've already dropped a candy cane or 2. You don't want to lose anything once you grab a hold of it. So you can't sleep. You can't be at peace. You can't be stress-free because you're holding on to all our stuff. And so Solomon says, here's what I've seen. Better to have 1 handful than 2 with hard work and chasing the wind. What if we actually need less of what doesn't matter and more of what does? The reason why, again, is because this world is not our home. Our life is too valuable. Our life is too valuable. The calling that God has on our life is too great. Our God is too good for us to spend our lives on things that don't matter. The stakes are way too high. And here's what we want to be mindful of again. And in Luke 12:15, let me read for us out of this. We first heard from King Solomon. Now we want to hear from Jesus. And here's what Jesus says in Luke 12. I'm going to read a little background before we get to 15. He says this, "Then someone called from the crowd, 'Teacher, please tell my brother to divide our father's estate with me.' Jesus replied, 'Friend, who made me a judge over you to decide such things as that?' Then he said, 'Beware. Guard against every kind of greed. Life is not measured by how much you what? Own,' right? So here we have this guy who's calling out to the crowd, 'Teacher, divide for me. Make my brother give me what I'm actually going to get from my father's estate.'" Okay? Now that's a whole other message. The idea of when a loved one passes away and then we fight over what's left. Don't worry, we're not going to go there right now. Just so you know, we're not going to worry about that. But Jesus says, listen, I'm not the judge of those things. Don't worry about who gets what. I mean, you're mourning the loss of a loved one. Now we're going to fight as family over what's left. He says, beware. And whenever Jesus says beware, we probably should beware. All right? Like, be aware. If Jesus is saying this is a warning, it's probably a good idea to listen to what he's saying as a warning. And he says, guard against every kind of greed. Life is not measured by what we own. And then Jesus tells a story. He tells a story about a rich man who God blessed. I mean, things are going really, really well for him. And so he's saying, you know what? I've been so blessed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tear down my storage bins. I'm going to make bigger storage bins. I'm going to make more and more able to hold on to what I've been blessed with. And then I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to eat, drink, and be merry. And Jesus tells the story that night, God says to this rich man, "You fool. You will die this very night. Then who will get everything you worked for?" And Jesus closes that story with this reminder in verse 21. Yes, a person is a fool to store up earthly wealth but not have a rich relationship with God. What if we need less of the things that don't matter and more of the things that do? And Jesus is saying, I want you to beware, watch out for this. Our life does not consist in abundance of possessions. Our life does not consist of our stuff. Our life does not consist of our stuff. Here's the truth today. I am not what I have. I am not what I own. I am not what I drive. And I'm not what I wear. That's true for me. But it's true for all of us. So I want us to repeat after this. You ready for this? Here we go. I am not, first of all, what I have. I am not what I have. Oh, come on. I need you to say that. Some of you, I don't know if you're believing this, right? So I'm not what I have. Ready? I am not what I have. What I own. I am not what I own. What I drive. I am not what I drive. What I wear. I am not what I wear. Now you said, I don't know if you believe it yet, just so you know, right? But here's the truth. Again, every commercial this Christmas season, every advertisement, every post that is an ad secretly disguised as a post that is actually an ad, anything that we see is going to have a different message. You are what you have. You are what you own. You are what you drive. You are what you wear. Culture, our American culture says, no, your identity is in these things. This is how you identify yourself. If you're not cool enough, maybe if you wake up and look outside of your window, there'll be a car with a big red bow on it. And then you'll be cool. It's 2019, just so you know. Oh, you have a phone? That's great. How old is that phone? Oh, you're not cool. You need the newest phone. It's the XR Q plus. All right, you need all these things. All right, you need this new. No, that phone still works. Throw it away. You don't need that. That was so yesterday. Your earphones have wires attached to them. Uncool. Just so you know. All right, you need AirPods. You need wireless earphones. You need all these things. So what we do as a people, listen. We buy in. And I'm saying we. I buy in. And I believe, hey, maybe I am these things. Maybe I am what I own. Maybe I am what I drive. Maybe I am what I wear. Maybe I am what I have. And what we hear over and over again is that what you don't have, you need. Amen. What you don't have, you need. And what does that do? That takes our mindset away from being content saying, I need to pursue. One handful is good, but I need the other handful. I need to go after that. Culture says, that's right, it's Christmas time. Get more. Get more. I love how Black Friday is after Thanksgiving. Like the very next day. God, thank you for all that we have. Go get more. Like, it's like, let's do it. Wake up early. Like, we're going to do this, all right? And so, what if, again, the stuff that we have is robbing us of the life that we want? What if the pursuit of this will make me happy, and this will make me popular, and this will make me cool, this will make me fit in, this will make me feel good about myself? What if the stuff that we have is robbing us of the life that we want? What if this is our life, and we don't have peace, and we don't have joy, and we don't have stress-free moments in our life? We want to say, okay, I want to travel light. How do we go from two-handed to one-handed living? I'm glad you asked. Right? Because here's some application points for us today. If we want to travel light, we want to begin to unpack some things. We want to go from two-handed to one-handed living. Here's what I want to challenge us to do. First of all, throw out. Throw out. I told you, I might step on some toes today, just so you know, right? I want to challenge us to throw out as if our life depended on it. Because it does. We want to be mindful again that the older we get, the more and more things we collect and gain along the way. And the more we hold on to. And again, part of that is because God blesses us, right? God does bless us. We have been blessed in many different ways. But the older we get, we hold on to these things. And so I want to challenge us, don't just declutter, but to de-own. To de-own certain things. Owning less is way better than organizing more. Owning less is way better than organizing more. We see again that this is a mindset that we understand that sometimes our heart and our things, they get tied together. We want to be mindful of that and be aware of that because this world is not our home. So in Matthew 19, we see this person. We don't know his name, but we refer to him the last 2,000 years as the rich young ruler. And he goes to Jesus and says, hey, what must I do to gain eternal life? And Jesus is like, follow the commands. Follow what's in the scriptures and you'll find life. And then this rich young man goes, well, which commands? And Jesus says, well, don't murder. Don't lie. Honor the Lord your God. Do these things. And this guy goes, okay, I checked those off the list. What else? And here's what Jesus does. Jesus knows this young man's heart. So Jesus gives an answer to this young man that he doesn't give to anybody else. He knows what's going on. He knows that this guy's possessions, they actually have his heart. And so Jesus speaks right to the heart of the matter. And here's what he says. I want you to go. Sell all that you have. Pay off any debts you have. Rest over the money. Give it to the poor. And then come and follow me. Matthew 19:22. Here's what it says. But when the young man heard this, he went away sad, for he had many possessions. This young man thought he had possessions, but these possessions actually had his heart. So when Jesus challenges him and says, hey, I want you to go and get rid of the things that don't really matter, and instead follow me, this young man goes away sad. He's willing to trade following after God to pursue the things that own his heart. Now, just so we're clear, it is not wrong to have things. And just so we're clear, it is not wrong to have things. God blesses us. God has blessed us. We're going to find out in a few minutes how much God has blessed us. It's not wrong to have things. It's wrong when things have us. It's wrong when they pursue and control and have our heart. So we want to challenge you, just remind you, mindful of this, that whatever is distracting you from what matters most, we want to be able to throw them out. Throw them out. get rid of these things that distract us. Now, there's two main reasons that we hold on to stuff. Okay? We hold on to things out of fear and out of sentiment. Right? We hold on to things out of fear. What if I need this one day? What if there comes a time when cassettes come back? I need this cassette player, all right? What if DVDs don't work out and we go back to VHS? I need this VCR, just in case. That's going to happen. Right? What if, and we just fill in the blank. What if I need this one day? What if I hold on to this? And because of that, there's a fear that we have, right? Because you never know when I might need that. Or, what if the kids will want this one day? I'm going to hold on to this in my house so that when the kids get their own house, they might eventually take this that they had when they were 4. They might actually need this now that they're 24 or 44. All right? We don't want to talk about things. Again, I'm poking fun, but I know I'm stepping on toes. All right? We did a marriage series in August. You might want to go back to that before we go any further, just so you understand, all right? So we understand, again, there's different issues and stuff. We talk about different things about letting go, and there's a fear that we have. And I want to encourage you. You're not alone. So here's what I did. And transparency. I went in my kitchen last night. And I took a picture of the junk drawer. How many of you have a junk drawer, right? You have a junk drawer, right? Well, we don't have one. There you go. I'm going to show you 3 pictures today of just junk drawers. They're just in 2 rooms, all right? So here's the first one, all right? Here's the first one, all right? Don't know if you can see that there, but there's glue, there's scissors, there's a tape measure, there's blank birthday cards in case, you just never know. You need a blank birthday card. There's a wrench. Underneath that, there's batteries. I don't know if they work or not, but they're in that drawer, just so you know, right? There's a mosquito flea repellent thing, that little circle thing there. There's all just sorts of junk. Just all piled in there, right? Because you never know. We might need this one day, right? So there's fear there. I go and exhibit B, all right? Let's go to the next junk drawer, right? In this, all right, go. I think there's another one. So, all right, no, is there? Go back. Did we miss one? Is there another one? All right. Oh, there are 2 of the same. All right, so we see again the second junk drawer. We see this idea go forward a little bit. So we see again there's old headphones that are there. We have keys. I don't know where these keys go to. I don't know if I still own these things, right? I don't even know. There's an old master lock there, but none of the keys fit that master lock, just so you know. See that little bag there? Those are Christmas lights. The spare bulbs, right? I don't even use those Christmas lights anymore. Well, I'm all LED now, so those are gone. There's an old eyeglass case. I don't even know if there's any glasses in there. And you know what I found in that junk drawer? Seriously, I found 3 of these cameras. Remember these old point-and-click cameras that I don't know if there's anything on there. I don't even know. Can you still develop film? I don't know. It's fine. All right. I don't even know. Right? I don't even know what's there. They're not just one of them. 3 of these in there. And you're like, at one time we said, I just put it in that drawer. And now years later, we're finally going, what in the world is going on here? This is transparency, right? What is it time for me to do? It's time for me to throw out some stuff, all right? It's time for me to not just declutter, but to de-own. Guess what? We don't have junk drawers in America. We have junk closets. Some of us, we have junk rooms. Some of us pay monthly for junk storage units. Junk garage. We can't put our car in the garage. Why? Junk. We got stuff in the garage, right? Why? Because we need it. You never know when I'm gonna. So fear. So here's the deal. How are we going to overcome fear? God, I trust that you're my provider. God, I trust that just as you provided these for me, I trust that God, one day if I need it again, you'll provide. Or we take our closets, right? One day, God, I'm gonna wear this again. I don't know if you are. Just so you know, I don't know if you are. So what if we gave it away? Maybe we didn't throw it away, but if it's still in good condition, we give it away. And some of us, again, with our kids, and they might want this one day for their kids. I don't know if they will, but talk to them. But maybe, again, we can give it away to those who have a need. And God, you provided for this clothing once. I trust that if we need it again, you'll provide again. Amen. God, you provided clothes for me this year. If you haven't worn something for a year, maybe we give it away. God, you provided me for me before. I trust you provide me again. All right. Now, on a very human level, right? When we're packing a suitcase, travel light. Why? Because no matter where you're going, there's a Walmart near there. Just so you know, all right? There'll be a Walmart there. The same thing true here, spiritually speaking. God's going to be there in the future wherever we go. God's going to be there wherever we find ourselves. We can trust God to provide for us whatever that need will be in the future. So we hold on to things because we're afraid, but instead we're going to fight that and say, God, I'm going to trust in you. And we're partnering with Joel Pace, and he has this ministry called Be the Change, Northeast Florida. And they do clothing drives. Man, if you have clothes and kids' clothes and stuff, man, bring those to the church. We'll get those to Joel. We'll get those to them. They do clothing drives every month. They're going to do one in January. And man, it would be great to say, listen, we're going to travel light. We're going to get rid of some things, not just organize, but get rid of things we no longer need. And in this case, we provide it, if it's still in good condition, provide it to be a blessing to somebody else. Why? Because God provided for us, and God can use us to provide for somebody else. That's part of his plan. And so that's how we overcome fear. Sentiment. Sentiment's a little bit different, right? We hold on to things because, man, that person gave this to me. It's a gift. We hold on to that. Well, hold on to things because, man, we remember that person. I remember, that our little ones, their first tooth came out. Okay, some of us, we have all of their teeth, just so you know. We have all their teeth, all right? So, I'm just saying, all right? So, again, that first haircut, we hold on to that. There are things that are sentimental, but there are things, again, that, you know what, this was their first ribbon they got in field day at first grade. Then here's all the ribbons they got for all their elementary, and all these things. And we hold on these things that are sentimental reasons. How do we overcome sentiment? It's kind of, again, go with me on this. To overcome sentiment is to look at that object and say, thank you, you served your purpose. You were the first grade blue ribbon for my child. You did a great job. Now it's time to move on. Right? And we begin to release things that serve their purpose. Now again, I'm not saying get rid of all sentimental stuff, but obviously if there's some pictures on here that are valuable, I want to be able to get them because right here they don't do me any good. But I want to be able to get pictures, things that really are important and that I can hold on to. But everything else, man, it's okay to get rid of that stuff. It's okay to let it go. That gift you received from your college roommate 25 years ago, you don't need to hold on to that anymore. You served your purpose. Thank you. That gift was really meaningful to me at the time. Thank you. And let it go. And we recognize again that we're able to move on, to let go and have less distraction. Because what if we have more of the stuff that doesn't matter and less of the stuff that actually does? What if we're saying, okay, I got to hold on to this and I need the extra storage unit for all this stuff, when actually God's saying, no, one-handed. Better to have one hand in peace, stress-free, being able to enjoy these things. Now here's what's so cool. Again, if you have some Christmas gift, go to your garage. You probably have some great gifts to give away to someone, right? Just so you know, like, hey, we're going to make money. You don't have to tell them about this sermon. Don't tell them that. Just say Merry Christmas, right? So we can do that, all right. So never let stuff crowd out what matters most. Never let stuff crowd out what matters most. Better to have one hand with peace and quietness, less stress and joy. So we're going to throw out. Secondly, one-handed living. How do we get into one-handed living? We buy less. We buy less. And you're like, Jeremy, this message is a week too old, just so you know. Right? And I'm in the same boat. I did some Black Friday shopping. I did some Cyber Monday shopping. I'm the same way. Listen, we realize again that sometimes we buy things not because we need them, but because we want them, or to make us feel good. Get this, 62% of people admit to shopping to cheer themselves up. If I don't feel good, I'm having a good day, I need to buy something. If I don't feel good, things aren't going well, I'm a little down, I just got to get that sale. If I get to that sale, then I'm going to perk up. It's going to be good. And sometimes what we do is we take shopping and make it a form of escape. We make it a form of entertainment. And we realize, okay, if I really like things that are new and clean. And I said cell phone, my 2-year-old cell phone that still works, that's not new. I want something newer. I want something that's going to be a part of it. So again, we have this mindset. There literally is like a drug-like feeling. The dopamine hits. And we have that power. We walk out of the AT&T store. Yes! New phone! phone. They're like, yes, look at me. And you're pulling out your phone, look at me. I got this new phone, and there's this power, there's excitement there. Man, when you get the BOGO at Publix, if you don't even need it, you're like, man, I walked out. I stole from Publix, all right? They give it for free, all right? And I got those things. I don't even use that brand or eat that brand. I'll probably throw away the extra stuff, but I stole it. I got that. And there's this idea of, woo, we won. We're excited. Is there anyone else going to feel that with me? Anyone? Yeah, like you close that computer. What? Walmart didn't even know what hit them Cyber Monday. They didn't even know, right? And so we get all this stuff, and we realize again that sometimes we're just buying just to part of pursuit. And we get a good deal, but it's something we don't need. We might want it, but we don't really need it. We want to be able to people who travel light. And not only that, but we want to be people who realize that these things have consequences. Again, is it getting more of our heart? The more that we pursue, the more we own, the more we possess, the more we buy? Or are we actually controlling it? In Psalm 119, verse 36, the psalmist says this, give me an eagerness, talking to God here, give me an eagerness for your laws rather than a love for money. Turn my eyes from worthless things and give me life through your word. The psalmist is saying, listen, don't let me pursue the love of money. Don't let me pursue where that goes. God, give me an eagerness for your word. Give me an eagerness for you. God, turn my eyes away from things that won't last, that don't matter in the long run, and give me life through your word. And what's interesting is you and I pursue the word. Who do we actually find? We find God. God is in his word, and we get to know him and hear more of his heart and hear how much he loves and has in mind for us. And we're able to go after that. And here's what I want for my life. And I'm not near there as often as I want to be. But I want to live my life where my life is full of God. Amen. His grace. His goodness. His presence in my life. So much so that I don't need stuff to fill a void. Or I can't, but God, there's no room for you because I got stuff. I want to live my life going, God, I want more of you. I want to pursue you more. I want to experience you more. I don't need to go to Kohl's. Use Kohl's cash, whatever that is, to fill a void. God, I want you to fill that void. And as I confess, I'm not there near as often as I want to be. But that's where I want to go. And I want this verse to be true for my life. God, help me to turn my eyes from things that don't matter. Help me to find life and go after life that's in your word. It's interesting, again, even on a purely wise wisdom factor. Man, buy less. Man, what do we get over and over again? We get that January crash when the credit card bill comes in the mail. And what we thought would fulfill, now the gift wrapping is thrown away, and some of those toys they're under the table, and maybe they're broken already, and they didn't work. And some of us, we thought about, oh, we got this for them last year. They didn't use it once, even this past year, and all that's there. And they were left with the bills, and we're left with the debt, and we're left with. What if we said, no, I'm going to pursue less of what doesn't matter, and more of what does? And part of that is going to simply buy less. Here's some good advice, again, for those of us who are parents, those of us who are seeking to gain the most of life. Actually, probably true for all of us. So what if we chose experiences over buying things? What if we chose experiences over buying things? So what's interesting is I opened one of those junk drawers last night, and I found these baggies. And these baggies are the shark teeth that our family, finally after years of living in North Florida, now we figured out what we're actually looking for when it comes to shark's teeth. And we found a bunch over the last 2 years. And I had to pause and realize that shark teeth, those bags represent experiences. The times of our family being together at the beach and just talking and looking down and finding teeth and looking at shells and just talking about life and interacting with each other. That's an experience that's worth far more than anything we can buy at the store. So I want to challenge you again. What are those experiences? If you have adult children, talk to them. Hey, what do you remember the most about childhood? As you think like that, what do you remember the most about being with your family when you were growing up? What is a good experience you've got? And then we want to be able to carry that on with those around us, with our loved ones, as single people, to go after experiences instead of things, and to seek after those. And so we want to be mindful of that as well. So we want to be a people who throw away, buy less. And our third advice we get from Scripture when it comes to one-handed living is to simply give more. We want to be a people who give more. In 1 Timothy 6, verses 17 and 19, it says this. Paul is writing, he says, teach those who are rich in this world not to be proud and not to trust in their money, which is so unreliable. Their trust should be in God, who richly gives us all that we need for our enjoyment. Let's just hold right here on this verse for a second. Teach those who are rich in this world. And all of us go, that's right, get those rich people. Get those 1%ers. Get those ones who own everything. That's right, get the ones, the lifestyles of the rich and famous. Remember that old show, right? Remember? We get those again, our cribs. Get one of those again who are all this. That's right, get them, Paul. Get them. And here's the thing. You and I, we are rich in this world. We're in this sentence. If you have the means and the ability to eat 3 meals a day, we are rich in this world. If you have a smartphone and can order things from Amazon on it, we are rich in this world. If we drove a car to church today, you are rich in this world. Again, compared to the population of the world, I think it's something like if you make over $32,000 a year, you're rich compared to the rest of the world in the grand scheme of things. So this verse is not for, oh yeah, get those 1%. No, it's us. We are rich in this world. And again, God has blessed us. We say, thank you, God, because we do have the means for these things. And you have given us the ability for these things. But what are we doing at the same time? Not to be proud of those things. Not to trust in our money, which is so unreliable. Where should our trust be? Our trust should be in God, who richly, what does he do? Gives. Our God is a giver. He richly gives us all we need for our enjoyment. In verse 18, it says, Paul goes on to say, tell them to buy more. Tell them to hoard all that you have. Tell them to click buy now on Amazon and get it here. Pay extra for the quicker shipping. Do what you have to do. No. Paul says tell them to use their money to do good. They should be rich in good works and generous to those in need. Always be ready to share with others. Then verse 19 says, by doing this, they will be storing up their treasure as a good foundation for the future, so they may experience true life. As they do good, as they are generous, as they are rich in good works, what are we doing? We're actually laying a foundation. We're storing up treasure in heaven, where thieves can't break in, where moths can't destroy, where rust can't tear it apart, where things will last forever. And so we want to be mindful again. What are we really living for? What are we going after? Here's what's interesting. You and I, we never hear emotional getting stories. We don't really tell emotional getting stories. There was one day, I wondered, wireless headphones? Getting choked up here. Right? There's never emotional getting stories. And I went to the store, pulled out my credit card. That was awesome. I'm getting chills thinking about it. Right? We don't tell those stories, right? We don't hear those stories about buying things. And we don't really hear or tell emotional keeping stories. There was that one time, man, we got another fridge. The other one was still working. And man, we thought about, we could give this to a single mom who might need this, but now we said, we're just going to put it in the garage. And man, that is so exciting and emotional. And I just want to tell that story because, so excited about what I got to keep. Right? We don't tell emotional keeping stories. But we talk about generosity. And generosity is what we love to hear. I mean, just yesterday I was reading about how this guy, I think in Delaware, I think there's one in New Jersey as well, 2 different people. They called up Walmart. They said, hey, I want to take care of everyone's layaway at this Walmart. So something to the tune of $50,000. pretty amazing. Wanted to stay anonymous, so no one would know who it was. Said, just tell them Santa Claus says Merry Christmas. So they took a picture, and there's all these receipts of paid off layaway items. So they were calling the people at this Walmart saying, hey, come get your stuff. Paid off. You're talking about an emotional story? That's an emotional story. What is it? It's generosity. It's being willing to give. And we don't know, again, the spiritual aspect of whoever paid off. But I know it seems like his possessions don't have his heart or her heart. We don't know who it was. But it seems like they understand what it means to not have stuff own you, but instead to own the stuff. And that story, again, can you imagine just being generous? Now, you and I, maybe we can't call River City Walmart and be like, all right, everything, put it on my tab, right? Maybe we can't do that, right? But I love, there's a church in Atlanta. One of their phrases their pastor says, Andy Stanley says this. He says, do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. So you and I, maybe we can't pay off everyone's layaway at Walmart. But you and I can be generous to one person. You as I, as a family, we can be generous to one other family. To find a need and meet it, to give something about them, to be able to be rich in good works to them, to be generous to them, to pursue and point them to God as the one who has given us things. We want them to pursue God as well. You and I can do that. So I want to challenge us to travel light this Christmas. Instead of going after two hands and chasing the wind and finding stress and less peace and less joy, I want to challenge you and I. What if we were to travel light? What if we were to travel light this Christmas and begin to throw away or buy less or give more? Here's what's interesting. When you and I live with one hand, what can you and I do with one hand, living with one hand on stuff and a free hand? What do we have? Well, we have a hand to praise God. God, thank you again for all that you've given to us as a family. You and I have a hand to give to someone in need. We can lift somebody up. We can encourage them, hug them. We can give a high five, care about them. We can take our kids by the hand and say, hey, here's how I want you to live when you're older. And to lead them and guide them again to what really matters. And so you and I, again, have a chance to do these things. Solomon says, two hands, chase the wind. Never satisfied. But better to have one hand to find peace and joy and stress-free, be able to travel light this Christmas. What if you and I are accumulating on earth what we cannot keep? Are we doing that? Or are we investing in heaven what we cannot lose? Just something to think about for us as we begin December. Let's pray. Father God, as we close this time, and we're so grateful again for who you are. God, we can't talk about stuff without pausing, first of all, to say thank you for how much you blessed us. Lord, you're the one who gives. You're a giving God, and you're a loving God.